It felt so good to sing with y'all like that just now, and I've already taken a moment to give thanks for having the first Sunday service of 2024, knowing that our roses for the year are going to open, and that any fears we brought into the new year are going to burn away, and I'm declaring that right now in the energy of the song that we just sang. I'm also so grateful to say that my 2024 is starting from a place of feeling like my rose of confidence has finally opened, in case y'all didn't notice with this performance today. Just in my standing and singing, and I was preparing to be standing more so right now, but in my sitting before you right now, I'm doing it as if it's the most natural thing in the world when that has not always been the case for me. I made it a goal to be able to do this. In addition to just being a regular minister, I wanted to feel comfortable to really be myself being in front of you, and I decided that I was going to make it an intention. And lo and behold, if it's not already manifesting itself, 7 days into the new year? I heard it was the epiphany yesterday, and this was definitely mine, like confidence, and I pray that that's true for some other folks. My glory that I'm naming, I feel, is to my God that low esteem did not make it into the new year with me. I know that low self-esteem is something that a lot of people deal with, even if you don't realize that you're dealing with it. Even, earlier this morning, I ain't naming no names, I heard someone say, like, if I mess up, just say, fix it, stupid, or something. I'm like, why would you think that I would ever call you stupid? I don't think anyone should have those kind of narratives in their mind where they think it's okay when they mess up for someone to call them stupid. And I'm not picking on the person or people who say this. But I just know that low esteem is hard for a lot of people. And me just getting this confidence, it's so fragile. It's here now, but it's so new. And truth be told, not long ago, during my ministerial internship in Canada, I remember the very moment I prayed a request for my soul to unfurl its wings and blossom into ministerial confidence. It was while listening to I Know This Rose Will Open during a religious exploration class. Spirit of Life, some of y'all might have heard of it, is from the Tapestry of Faith curriculum in the UU, the Unitarian Universalist Association's collection of curriculums. And in that, there was this lesson with a story titled Untried Wings. It said that the unfurling of wings can refer to freedom from limitations. It then invited us to consider what it would look like to be free with, actually, you know what, this chair is a little too low because I would be on a standing stool. Let me make this adjustment right now. Free from limitations, amen. Amen, right now, because I can stand and this can adjust. What would it look like to be free with metaphorical wings unfurled? The lesson asked us to fill in the blank at the end of the statement. If my soul unfurled its wings, I would ... If my soul unfurled its wings, if your soul unfurled its wings, you would maybe sing more, or play more, or fill in the blank more. It also asked, if you could reach your full potential as a spiritual person, what would you be like? And I mean wave a magic wand, no limitations or restrictions. If your soul unfurled its wings or your fear magically burned away, what is the one thing that you would grow? How would your spiritual life change? How would your entire life maybe be different? When I answered that question for myself back in the Spirit of Life class of 2020, my answer was that I would sing more as a part of my ministry. As some of you, as we just experienced, notice that I've definitely become a pastor that will sing or hum a tune in a minute. I'm so grateful for that, but the point is that hasn't always been true. This is new, and it has a lot to do with you. each of you in this room right now and y'all online, because I'll be singing to y'all online a lot too. That's what made me want to join in on my Facebook fam, because I'll be singing to them and they affirm. Given the way that y'all have blessed me with these final rays of sunshine to finally bloom my ministerial flower, I want to suggest that y'all allow me to return the favor, so to speak. By this, I mean, I want to suggest that through the planting of seeds of intentions based on the messages that we do, not just this service, but all of the services, when I be up here talking, I really be pouring in intentions for you all to live into and to consider. And in case you don't, this is an official, explicit invitation to do that, to encourage your own soul's blossoming and unfurling, because really that's my mission in life. I want to assist people in the flourishing of their human potential, because that's what I want for me. Some of the ways that you can do that, I want to give concrete things, is consider joining in some of the upcoming RE offerings, or allowing your soul to have an opportunity to explore unfurling through engaging with other UUs. And I'm going to just put in a little note for something that's going to be coming soon. I had an idea for pop-up spiritual practices that would allow for all of you to share with all of us, hey, I'm going to the park on this day, this week, to sit in meditation. Boom, pop-up spiritual practice. You can invite other people to join in. Basically, the things that when Angel puts on the schedule, he's been really modeling the freedom that we have to do things with this congregation. Angel has just been one of the few people to take charge of that. Angel is the music director. He's not RE, but he wants this community to feel full of rich experiences for spiritual opportunity. But it doesn't have to just come from him. It can come from each of you. And you can invite us to join in, because that's what communities do. So that's an idea. Why do I wish this for you? Well, because if the unfurling of wings refers to freedom from limitations or liberation from fears, it leads me to believe that what helps a person to become free of limitations, to help a person unfurl their metaphorical wings, is being loved in such a way that even if they don't love themselves or believe in themselves or their gifts or talents, their rose still opens. I think that there are many of you who don't believe in the power of your gifts and the talents that you have. I think there are many of you who don't really believe in the power, I think this is because I've spoken to a couple of you about sharing in these kind of opportunities that I mentioned, and a lot of you will say like, and this is how I know that we just need a nudge to be brave. Just in that pause, that small moment, and I know I felt it when Sadie led the service for Play as Resistance. I don't know how many other people leaned into that opportunity to actually use Play as Resistance, but I sure did. She gave an invitation to be brave. Well, the whole service did, because the choir sung the song Brave. That connection, it ignited something in me that then set fire to what's happening right now. I'm going to show a video at the very end of the service, so, good luck to the people who stick around at the very end. I didn't do that on purpose, but it's pretty good. That's related to what we're talking about with the Brave song. I have said a few times before that I didn't think that I could be a minister of a church. I didn't think that I had the capacity to week after week or every 2 weeks provide inspirational or interesting messages. But your feedback, like times like this, the fact that Chase started clapping and that, after the 12 o'clock time that y'all agreed to stay for another 18 minutes after the service, That is how you loved on me in such a way when I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could do this. I know I didn't want to be a minister. A church minister. I wanted to go into the military, but stepping into the opportunity, oh my gosh. My mom told me that what y'all are doing, she literally used a turtle as an example when my eyes just landed on it. This is the reason why I want to get better with doing extemporaneous speaking, so I could use what's in the room to name what I'm trying to express. My mother just told me that she experienced me as being like a turtle, like too afraid, not realizing I have a whole protective shell. And my mom would say that protective shell is the blessing of God that covers me all the time, that I don't have no reason to fear or be afraid of anything at any time because the shell got me. But I, as my mom would say, just want to barely stick my head out and I'm going to stick my toe and I'm going to be the minister of this church and I'm going to try to show up and, do things right. But then just now when I realize, and I call it, and my mom calls it, the glory of God that's covering me, that's allowing me to be brave, and this community of support that is loving me to say, I got emails and people coming up to say, Ian, I love you being your authentic self. Who would have known? I sure didn't. It brought me out of my shell. My mom will be happy to see that. As I settle more comfortably into the ranks of being a parish minister, I am called to recognize that not all trans ministers or BIPOC trans ministers have experienced the kind of liberatory love that I've been blessed with. A beloved colleague of mine, Reverend Jalen Pema Scott, a Black trans woman and UU Buddhist community minister, did not receive the loving liberation by our UU community. When I was a student at Star King School for the Ministry, I'll never forget the day that she joined in on my class, and when we had the opportunity to actually speak, she looked at me from the computer screen and started crying. It was as if I could feel her reaching her hand to me, saying, "Beloved, don't. These churches aren't ready for you. They weren't ready for me. They hurt me. They abused me. They harmed me in such a way. I don't want that for you, my dear, sweet child." This is what she said to me over the computer screen and had me crying on the floor like, what am I doing? I didn't know how to receive that then. But now, I more fully understand those fears that she had as I stand here in the place of having received this liberated love that someone else didn't receive. I understand. And I'm so grateful that I didn't have to feel it, and I thank God that people like Reverend Jalen prayed for me and prayed me into this future that I'm standing here now. I also want to give thanks for the non-BIPOC, non-binary colleague and dear friend of mine, Reverend Holly, the former UUCT interim minister, who also prayed for me in their own way and paved a path to welcome me as UUCT's minister now. I'm sticking on. We're still moving on time. Dr. James Finley, a psychologist and former monk, once said that the mystic is not somebody who says, look at what I've experienced or look at what I've achieved. The mystic is one who says, look at what love has done to me. The mystic, which I identify as, I made a note to say that somewhere earlier, but folks who know me, I identify as a mystic. And we can talk about what that means later if you have questions. But the mystic is one who says, look at what love has done to me. Look at what your love, your UUCT love, has liberated me and healed wounds rooted in communal trauma and fears that weren't mine to carry. I feel as if y'all reminded me of that old Jackie Wilson song that says, your love has lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up and quench my desires, and I'll be at your side forevermore. Okay, well, maybe, I don't know about forevermore, but at least for now, I remained grateful to be welcomed as I am, and I make it my business to tell y'all that every time I lead services, So please do keep it up. I say this all in jest, but I'm not only grateful for your welcome of me, but I'm grateful that you are genuinely a community that strives to welcome everyone. In that same vein, I'm also glad that we're not a community that feels the need to put on airs and feels the need to be super fancy every Sunday. I ain't knocking everybody else's church, but I'm glad that this isn't the kind of church that I gotta wear stuff like this all the time. This was a part of the thing, so I don't want y'all to think that I'm just standing up here undressing, and I don't want nobody on there. It was a part of it. It's a part of the freedom and the liberating love. Sincerely, because I didn't realize that this was planned so late into the service when I was like, oh my God, I'm really hot. I need to switch this pocket. Whew. Liberating love, your love has lifted me higher. You know, there was actually a post in the UU's ministers page that had a discussion about some unstated expectations for the minister to present themselves in a certain way of dress, which I do understand, being from the military and even while working at the hospital as a chaplain. And while I was there, I was required to wear collared shirts and slacks. And because, as y'all see, I have a lot of tattoos, I took it upon myself to cover them with cardigans every day. It was kind of like Mr. Rogers. It was cute, but it was still a restriction. And it led me to feel like I needed to uphold a certain respectability politic in my dress in order to be pastoral. The cardigans, the buttons-ups, even the robe, all of that masked my true, authentic presentation. Author and activist James Baldwin has said that love takes off the mask that we wear. Love takes off the mask we fear we cannot live without, and know we cannot live within. Liberating love takes off the mask that we fear we cannot live without. This would have been the point that I would have taken off my robe if I wasn't so freaking hot. Because, man, I knew I could never live within a stereotypical restrictive mask of how a minister, especially in the South, is supposed to be. And I thank you, UUCT, for loving me in such a way that I have been freed to be me. Never did I imagine being a tattooed, trans, queer, multi-religious, and mystic minister, not only leading a church in the South, but being loved by them. At least the majority of you, based on recent data. And by data, I'm referring to the recent congregational survey. Now, I'm not going to get into details about all of this right now of what it revealed. You'll have to wait until the Growing and Leading Ourselves Whole, aka GLOW meeting that's happening January 21st, for those details. But I just wanted to explicitly thank everyone for not only completing that survey and providing useful feedback for the church, but also the feedback to me explicitly. That is what's prompting all of this thank you. Because I saw it in writing that they really like me as I am. Because I just decided I would be here as I am, and I'll let them tell me, so I'll learn. Thank you. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. Wait, there was something else. The data has led me to share the news that having your encouragement has given me the courage to unfurl my ministerial confidence even further. My 2024 vision of ministry with UUCT has moved beyond my initial imaginings, and I'm really excited to share some of the ways that your liberated love has blossomed in me. I feel like that is a really great cliffhanger, because I am really excited to share the ways that your love has liberated me. And in the flow and spirit of time and knowing that I got another service to do at the end of the month, y'all, and I already know what I want to say. Again, look at God. So because it's a lot, but I want to make sure I don't leave out anything that ties into the very end. But I already know that y'all are going to be interested in part 2 of this, and I hope that y'all stay tuned and be interested in part 2. Yay! Micah from Capital T is joined in, and Micah is saying it was a great song and absolutely wants to join, and he's giving us love right now. I'm so grateful. Shout out to Capital T. There's also going to be a bruh kind of gathering. I'm not going to try to fit that in right now. Anyway, let me focus. If love takes off the mask that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within, as James Baldwin said, I close by asking, what might love be calling you to unmask in yourself or in your community in the name of justice? It is my wish for you to be brave enough to side with love. So that tells me that I referenced the fact that Side with Love has an upcoming campaign that's starting January 15th. I do want to mention that. So if anyone is looking for opportunities with how they can get involved with love and justice at the intersection, Side with Love 30 days is starting January 15th until February 14th. It is my wish for you to be brave enough to side with love, knowing that, as was stated in the reading earlier, true love, liberating love, is always a thunderstorm that cracks us clean open so the echoes of other breaking hearts can make their way in. Yes, love wants us to be whole and strong, but love's deepest longing is that we will use that strength to tear down structures that leave others bloodied and bruised and harmed. And I just want to say again, love's deepest longing is that we use that strength, that love that y'all poured on me, use that love to tear down the structures that leave others, like my friend Reverend Jalen, bloodied and bruised. This kind of love is liberatory and it saves lives. We must always remember that Selma's prophet of peace, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., regularly preached that love and power are always rightly wed, always rightly joined. And maybe this is where the second secret comes loose. That as we shake the walls to let others free, we learn that the ones we've liberated include you and me.